You are now watching the Queen Chioma.
So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video on camera edition. Let's go ahead and cue that theme song. Chioma Chat. Chioma Chat. Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Say Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Say Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Say Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Say grab a snack and bring it back. Hey, Chioma Chats. It's Chioma Chats. Say get it, twerk, shake, twerk, shake, and a twerk, and a what, period. Doing the theme song gets me even more hyped than y'all. I'm not gonna lie, it gives me the energy that I need to do the whole video. But hello guys, hey, how you doing? I'm back again. Before we get started, I do want to remind you all that I am hosting my club hosting here in Atlanta, my first ever club hosting on Saturday, October 25th. It is coming up. If you are interested in going, please RSVP with the link that is in my description box. It is free entry and free parking all night. If you're coming with a group of people and you want to reserve your own section, you may do so. Make sure that you guys buy some drinks at the bar, or you know, I might have a few drinks for some of y'all. Depends. But also it's a lounge, so you can get different types of food. I know there's going to be jollof fries that you can purchase and different things like that. So just come out and have a cool, fun Saturday night. If you just want to stop by and say hi, you can do so. Or if you want to party with me the entire time I'm there, that is fun as well. But just be sure to RSVP for you and your guests. On the docket tonight, we have 3 topics, and we're going to be talking about 1, the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Y'all know I love this topic of modeling fashion shows. I have my own modeling company, and I'm always shamelessly plug it. So shout out to Queen Team Models. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram as well. We just launched here in Atlanta. We're still getting, acclimated. I'm super excited to see where things are going to go. We've already done the application process and selected the ladies, but if you are interested, let me know. I think I need to keep a list of girls who are still interested. I can still have y'all, come out to some of our events, our rehearsals, our practices, our trainings. So if you're interested, my email is right here. Shoot me an email, queenteammodels@gmail.com. Do it now. Okay, do it now. Don't let me forget, and don't forget. Our second topic is about Ari Fletcher, an Instagram model and also business entrepreneur in the urban beauty space. She went viral for her Halloween look, and I think that is a topic where we have to be honest. I know we've talked about how the whole IG Baddie era has come to an end, and I know I've talked about that a lot. However, this kind of reignited why that may be the case. And lastly, all of the beautiful Black love stories that we've been seeing lately, from Keith Powers and Ryan Destiny, love them, to Coco Jones and Normani, and even Monaleo that I've talked about before. So I know that this is a lot, but I wanted to do this video as a compilation, again, kind of like a pulse check on where we are at as a culture, because I feel like all 3 of these things pertain to, again, young Black women, because honestly, there's been this interesting shift lately in beauty and relationships and even how we view success. So I've broken this video down into 3 main talking points. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So as a part of my pageant prep, I finally had decided to give lash extensions another try. And I have to shout out Lashinova here in Atlanta, because she honestly changed the game for me. My natural lashes are so extremely curly, like they curl inward and almost touch my eyelids. Because of that, every lash tech I've tried in the past just couldn't get it right. They would overload my lash line with too many extensions, make my eyes look beady, and there was never any real variation in lengths to create that soft, flattering shape that I love. But I found Lashinova, and she completely got it. Before she even started, she gave me a lash cleanse, which felt so good, and got my natural lashes prepped. Then she sat down with me for a mini consultation to talk about my eye shape, what I liked and what I wanted to avoid. I really appreciated that, because most techs kind of skip this step, but it makes such a huge difference. When she started applying the extensions, she was so meticulous, isolating each lash, making sure the lengths flowed naturally, and really working with my curl instead of against it. For the first time ever, I felt like someone understood how to style my lashes so they would look soft, wispy, and cat eye without feeling heavy or overwhelming. And y'all, I love how they turned out. They're light, natural, and perfectly shaped for my eyes, but still give me that glam look I wanted for pageant season. So if you've been hesitant to try lash extensions because your lashes are too curly or hard to work with, trust me, book her, okay? She is phenomenal, and I'm officially a loyal client now. Be sure to follow her on Instagram at Lashinova. All of her info is below if you want to check her out. And thank you, girl, for my lashes. I love them. So story number one, Black love is thriving again. Let's start with some positivity because it's been a minute since we've had this much good news at once. So actors Keith Powers and Ryan Destiny are officially engaged, and that's one of those couples that everybody was rooting for, not even secretly, but publicly. They've been together for years, and it just feels like a full circle moment. Then we have Coco Jones, who is an R&B singer, and Donovan Mitchell, who plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA. That engagement announcement also broke the internet for all the right reasons, and we here for it, girl. The photos were stunning, and the energy was very elegant, and people really felt this one. And then, of course, we have Normani, who is also an R&B and pop singer, and DK Metcalf, who was in the NFL. He plays for the Steelers. They also just got engaged. And it's just beautiful to see that wave of stability and joy happening out loud. And you already know, I've talked about Monaleo and Stunna Vegas. They had their pink wedding, and it was just so lovely. You know, them getting married, that was another one that reminded me how refreshing it is to see young Black couples moving in purpose and in peace. And I think what I love the most is that Gen Z and younger millennials are treating marriage like a real partnership again, and not just a flex, because I think a lot of people do flex marriage and then you'll be in like literally a horrible marriage that nobody really wants but you. And we definitely are not here for that. And I know sometimes somebody used to comment and be like, this is why I never understand why Chioma's always talking about marriage, because some marriages, you know, are just this, that, and the third. Yeah, duh. Not every marriage is going to work out. However, I'm not going to encourage y'all to not get married, especially if you want to get married. Don't be fearful of it. So I love that these examples from Keith Powers, Ryan Destiny, Normani, and DK, and then Coco Jones and Donovan, like they're showing that, hey, despite all of the noise and despite maybe things that we grew up with and, you know, certain generational curses that we're going to break, I'm not sure if they're all from two-parent households, but we're going to go ahead and take that step to be married and show that this young Black love is there. I love that all of these women are monoracial Black women. Now, I know that Ryan Destiny is biracial. However, I love the fact that these are brown and darker skinned women, that they're being loved on. They're not only being loved on by just Black men, but they're being loved on in a dynamic that sometimes people say that this look of Black women do not represent love or don't deserve love. And they're showing like, hey, no, we're going to get the love from very good Black men. And the good thing about Keith Powers and DK Metcalf and Donovan Mitchell, they don't have any controversy surrounding themselves in terms of how they treat women or having illegitimate children out here. And I love to see this. I really love to see this. It's not about rushing into marriage. It's about building something long term. And I feel like we've gone from the whole like soft life thing to like the stable life. And honestly, I love that for us. I think that these images matter because for years, the mainstream pushed the idea that healthy Black relationships were just rare or unrealistic. A lot of times we saw either the toxic side to that, Kirk and Rashida, or we saw things like, well, this is a baby mama here and a baby mama there. And a lot of girls saying like, you know, you can have a man's baby and get what you want to get from him and, you know, still be relevant and turn into a whole career. And then we see generations of women thinking they can do the same thing. Come to find out, you don't get any of the same benefits that the Jada Waitas or the Ari Fletchers or the Jania Michelles. What's the one that dates A Boogie or used to? Ella Bands is getting like, y'all are not them. Those are like women who just end up getting into, I want to say lucky, quote unquote, lucky situations where the guys that they're with are high earning and can provide, but that's not the average woman's experience. Now here we still have, you know, very affluent people who are really well paid in their careers and things like that. But I just love the optics. Like we're seeing the opposite of that rare and unrealistic image. More people are getting engaged, more two-parent households, more stability. And statistically, we're actually seeing that more Black children are being born into two-parent households compared to past decades and past generations, which to me is such a healthy shift for our communities. It's literally the start of a new pattern. So I'm here for it. Love is starting to look like something people are proud to commit to again. And good for us, good for the Gen Z and the millennials, because they're seeing that love is not something that, you know, you should be scared to go for or to post. Like you definitely fear the downside of love, but you still go for it. Trust me, I'm in the best relationship I've ever been in. And I encourage every woman to seek or eventually find that person that's for you, because it can be an embellishment to your life. I think all of this is because we're getting older, wiser, and we're valuing peace over the performance of what we thought love would be. I also think this is also about maturity. We've watched the soft life people, discourse evolve into stable life, like I said, and it's very much growth. Social media used to glamorize all the chaotic relationships, Blueface and Krishan, that didn't go anywhere. People were loving to see that, and we see that now. It ended up with somebody in jail, another woman who, well, I'm not going to say she lost her marbles. Her marbles were lost before all of this, but also a child that came out of that situation that we clearly know is not all the way healthy or doesn't have everything that he needs. So instead of clapping for that, we're now clapping for consistency and love. And at the end of the day, choosing peace and partnership and purpose, those 3 Ps, is the real flex when it comes to being loved. And I am just here for it for all of these ladies and all of these young men. Like, thank you. Thank you for restoring the imagery of what Black love should be. So congratulations. I can't wait to see the wedding pictures. I can't wait to brag on y'all. And I can't wait to continue to platform what an ideal image of Black love should look like. This is so positive for this generation, and I am so here for it. Moving on to story number 2, that is Ari Fletcher and the end of the IG Baddie era. And I know I've talked about this a lot, but moving on to Ari Fletcher, Lord, the internet was in shambles over this one. I ain't gonna lie, I was seeing this everywhere. So Ari dropped a Halloween promo for her makeup line, which is the Remedy by Ari, and people called it a jump scare. Like, they were really calling it that. She was barefaced. She had these icy blue contacts in, and the comments were wild. Like, she's doing like a before and after, like, here's me, and then here's me with the makeup, and then here's me again without the makeup, and then boom, and then you get the final look, basically. Some people said that she looked like the bride of Chucky. I saw that all down her comments on Instagram and TikTok. Some said that she looked possessed. I just think it was very, very chaotic. But here's the thing. The outrage really wasn't about the look itself. It was about the cultural shift. Like I always say, like, we're officially in the post-BBL era. The 2018 to 2021 IG Baddie aesthetic had a chokehold. I mean, the surgery bodies, the super glam faces, the filtered perfection. But fast forward now 5, 6, 7 years later, and people just aren't buying into that fantasy anymore. Now the vibe is softer, more natural, more sustainable, clean girl aesthetic, if you will. People want beauty that feels achievable and not exhausting. And the audiences that made that aesthetic famous have honestly grown up. Like, now we have bills, we have jobs, we have responsibilities, and most of us aren't trying to go live in full glam 24/7 anymore. Like, goodbye to those days, honestly. And I think what it really is that there's been so much manipulation of people's features over the years that it's changed the way that we see beauty altogether. And I think this is very serious. Like, between the fox eye lift, the lip fillers, the chin reshaping, and adding fat to the face to get that puffy, pretty look, or doing the opposite, which is, removing buccal fat to make your jawline pop, it's all just become a cycle. It's a lot. A lot of these IG baddies, including Ari, are the blueprint for that entire cosmetic wave. Now, I've said this before, that Ari and I have some similar features, and let me be clear, oh my God, I never said I look like Ari, ever. I said that we have similar features. People try to twist that, but what I said was that we have similar features, things like higher cheekbones, things like rounded eyes, and like a bigger nose. Those are features that are natural on me, and I've learned to love them. But when those same features appear on someone who's had surgery or filler, people often perceive them differently. If we're being real, they see them as artificial, even when the overall look might just be inspired by real features women already have. I'm not saying me, I'm just saying in general. When I saw the video, I actually thought the Pamela Anderson inspiration was cute. I liked the idea. I did get the vision, but the internet, they were not having it. But still, I think Ari got what she wanted. She wanted attention, she wanted views, she wanted a conversation. And I checked on that video, it had hit over 7.7 million views the last time I checked, which is crazy. Whether people loved it or hated it, they definitely watched it. I mean, I saw it everywhere. And I think this is where it gets kind of interesting. Every generation has had their own it girls, and every generation has had their own version of beauty. For example, when I was growing up in the late 90s and 2000s, well, mainly the 2000s, but the women who were considered the standard of beauty were people like Megan Good or LaShante Heckard or Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera or Ashanti or Tyra Banks and the original Victoria's Secret angels. The look back then was slim, natural, and soft glam. The most that most of those women had done at that time cosmetically was maybe a breast enhancement. And even then, it wasn't about looking overdone, unless you were trying to do like Playboy or something. It was about having that effortless, natural, pretty face and that toned figure. Nobody even cared about being curvy. But as we moved into the 2010s and the early 2020s, especially during that Instagram explosion era or social media, the look completely changed. Suddenly, everyone wanted to look like Ari Fletcher and Jada Waida and Miracle Watts and Black China and that whole archetype of the curvy, hyper feminine, hypersexual, Coke bottle body with the full lips, sculpted face, and long lashes. The look went from girl next door pretty to main character glam. And it's not that one is better than the other, it's just proof that beauty evolves with culture and every generation has its own version of what is desirable. And I don't think that the 2010s and 2020s essentially is worse than the 90s. It can be when you're talking about surgery, but for the women that naturally possess that, they're beautiful. The problem though is that this era's version of perfect became way too artificial, okay? It got expensive, it got unrealistic and exhausting to maintain. And I think that's why people don't care for it as much now that it's like 5, 6, 7 years later. What started as enhancements turned into full-blown transformations. Like people's before and after is crazy. And I keep seeing all of this facial balancing stuff and it looks great, don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying I'm against all of these things. It's just things I don't feel necessary for me to do. But if you're going from before and after and you look distinctly different, I get that's the point, but you also have to consider like, whoa, am I still myself? So now I think people are finally just tired of it. The same way the ultra skinny look of the early 2000s eventually phased itself out. The overfilled and overfiltered BBL look is on its way out too. And that is why people reacted so strongly to Ari's promo. It wasn't just about her. I think it was a reflection of an entire aesthetic people are moving away from. It's not even hate. I just think people are tired. And I get it. We've seen this beauty cycle so many times and we're just in another turning point. I think we are entering a new era where effort is more attractive than editing your body. Editing your pictures is one thing, but editing your body in real life is another. I think people are drawn to girls who are comfortable in their skin and not hiding behind layers of glam 24/7. I mean, if you see me out and about in Atlanta, hey, I might not look like this, but I'm saying like I can go outside and feel comfortable with no makeup on, with, you know, my natural hair. Whereas I'm not gonna lie, maybe a few years ago, I wasn't as comfortable. I was okay with it, but like now I genuinely feel better in softer makeup. I'm always gonna love me some glamorous eyelashes, but like it takes me 45 minutes to do a full face where it used to take me 2 hours. I don't do eyeshadow. I don't do eyeliner. I'm not trying to put heavy loads of contour and look like a clown. I just want more simple looking glam. Even I think men are adjusting their preferences because that highly manufactured fantasy has lost its novelty per se. I don't think the IG Baddie aesthetic is dead. Of course not. It'll always have influence because it is a look. It's still a look, but it's definitely retired from being the standard. The new it girls of this generation will look different for sure. They'll be more natural, they'll be more expressive and more diverse in features, shapes, and tones. And honestly, that's a good thing. It means we're expanding beauty again instead of narrowing it down just to one look. Now, moving on to my third and final story, that is the 2025 Victoria's Secret fashion show and just my review. Woo! This is the main event of the video, but this was Victoria's Secret's comeback moment, and I definitely have to talk about it as someone who is into modeling, into fashion, and I've been following a lot of these brands since I was a little girl. I've always had this soft spot for Victoria's Secret because, controversy aside, Victoria's Secret defined what glamour looked like for decades, whether that was good or bad. But after their old leadership made that whole statement about not wanting trans women in the show, which was essentially their choice, but it was a bad PR move to even say it, I think the brand basically went silent for a while. Now, fast forward to now, they're trying to rebuild and modernize. And I think this year was the first time it actually felt intentional for sure. And maybe that is, again, because of Savage X Fenty by Rihanna, who I think has really been like a bomb drop on a lot of the beauty and fashion industry. I mean, these companies were not having shade ranges that go all the way to deep, deep dark until Rihanna did it, until Fenty Beauty came. And even now, Victoria's Secret, who has always been heralded as the lingerie and intimacy wear company, did not do all these intentional, diverse models in their shows and in their campaigns until Savage X Fenty. So I definitely see the influence. However, I'm going to be on the side of I'm here for y'all actually changing, because that was what was needed for their brand. Fun fact though, The Secret and Victoria's Secret isn't even what people think. I don't even know if people know this, but the brand was actually started by a man. So the whole thing that felt like a feminine empire was actually built off of a man's fantasy, which yeah, it does explain a lot about how they use to market their stuff. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But anyway, this year's show, I actually liked it. It was miles better than last year's. The casting, the diversity, the styling, all of it felt more thought out. But I do have a lot to say. So let's start with inclusivity and representation and why that's always going to win. Victoria's Secret gave us everything. Okay, they gave us tall, petite, curvy, athletic, and plus size women on the same stage. I'm here for it. Angel Reese was one of the biggest standouts, literally. She's tall, she's powerful, feminine, and she represented for the athletic girls in such a beautiful way. Love me some Angel Reese. And I'm not gonna lie, I did get very inspired seeing her up there because I relate to that body type so much. I'm 6 feet tall myself. I don't have like a super curvy frame, but I do have a little bit of butt, okay? And I don't have no boobs. And growing up, I was always the tall girl that people would say looked too big or even too manly. And I don't know if any of my fellow tall girls can resonate with being called a man just because you're a tall girl. So to see a girl like Angel who's built just like that, you know, strong, long, lean, and still exuding so much confidence and femininity. And here's another little story time. I never played basketball growing up. Like, I'm 6 feet tall. I think I hit like 5'10" in like 9th grade. I've always been tall. I remember I was 5'6" by the time I was in middle school, right? And I like rebelled against wanting to play basketball because the reason why was not because maybe I didn't like it or I didn't want to, was because everybody equated playing basketball as a girl and me being big and manly and saying, oh, well, you should play basketball. You'd be good at it because you're tall and you're built like a man. So I never played basketball because I always heard that. Now, had maybe I had an Angel Reese at the time to look up to when I was a little girl, maybe I would have seen like, hey, you can play basketball and still be feminine, but I didn't have that imagery growing up. And I kind of equated basketball to like this tomboy sport. And I actually was a tomboy in like elementary school. I didn't become like a super girly girl until like really 9th, 10th grade. But yeah, like I just love that younger girls who are tall and maybe they feel awkward in their bodies or they just don't know what to do and they get called names, that they can see Angel Reese is this feminine example of being athletic, but also being pretty. So I just want to throw that out there. Representation like that matters because for the longest time, I do think that tall women were boxed into only being athletes and, like I said, tomboys, and never the ones to be considered soft or sexy or graceful. But here Angel was in front of the world reclaiming that space in every way that made being tall look powerful and beautiful. Like, shout out to the Amazonians, okay? Shout out to us. People were critiquing her walk, but for her first time, I thought she did okay. Like, let's be real. Runway walking is definitely an art. You can't just learn it overnight. It takes practice. It takes body awareness, rhythm, and attitude. Like for me, when I did my pageant recently, I had never done pageant walking before. I had no clue. Like the first go around, the coach was like, yeah, you're doing too much runway. You need to do pageant. You need to slow down. You need to be more graceful. You need to walk and smile. Like you don't really smile on the runway. So it was an adjustment and I had 3 days to get it together. So I think for Angel's first time, because I know there's the joke that she can't walk in heels, and I've seen the videos, like she does struggle to walk in heels, but I do think she did okay. A lot of people are saying like she ate that walk, and I get it, but from like those of us that are in the model world, I think she did good for her first time. For her to step out on that kind of stage during one of the most high profile fashion events of the year and still hold her own, I do think that is something to be proud of. And let's be real, that body was bodying, okay? The natural movement was doing what it needed to do. And y'all know what I'm talking about. The bounce, okay? That bounce, the confidence, the smile. She looked radiant. The fact that she wasn't trying to shrink herself, which is oftentimes what a lot of us tall girls do, or overcompensate to look petite in a way, made it even better. She took up the space, she walked with pride, and she made athletic femininity look stunning. And I'm here for that. I think Angel is proving that you can be a champion on the court and also on the runway, that athleticism and elegance can also coexist together. And I do think she's opening doors for a generation of girls who might have never seen themselves in that kind of light before. So Go Angel. Moving on to Jasmine Tukes. She opened the show while pregnant, which is very different, also very inclusive, but she looked divine. I was like, oh yes, I've never seen a visibly pregnant model strut like that in heels. Okay, it was such a strong message to women that you don't lose your sensuality just because you're becoming a mom. So I was definitely here for that. Then there was Quen Blackwell, and she is a Vine era influencer turned YouTuber and also now a model. I love seeing social media girlies who built their own platforms now stepping into high fashion spaces. There was some controversy about her wings and outfit because people were like, why does she have on those itty bitty wings? Like, what was that? That was definitely not the 10-piece that we ordered. That was like a 3-piece wing. And I want mine 10-piece, honey hot, fried hard, with a little bit of all-purpose seasoning on the side. I don't know why she had the smallest pair of wings when everyone else had like these full-on feathers and, you know, this full production of wings. I don't know, but I think it was probably just a creative direction choice. Maybe she wanted something a little bit more minimal, or maybe it was part of like the pink lines, more playful concept. Still, she represented that petite girl, that relatable girl, that demographic really well. Someone who doesn't necessarily fit the traditional model mold because she is short, but I do think it made her stand out. I was also a little bit confused about what she was wearing because it was like she had on like the black bra and underwear, but then like the pink bathing suit on top. I don't know, but anyway, she looked gorgeous and amazing. That's not on her. She did her thing, and she did train with Diva Divana, who I've shouted out on my channel. She's a runway coach, runway and etiquette coach in the New Jersey area. Literally, I love her, but we'll get to that. So also Suni Lee, my girl Suni. I love Suni. I actually follow her. She looked good in that hot pink set. It was giving, you know, the early 2000s nostalgia with like the pink metallic look. I've followed Suni for a while. Y'all know she's an Olympic gold medalist and a gymnast, and seeing her up there was another huge win for the athletic girls and that athletic representation. What's funny is that there was this whole headline floating around saying Angel Reese was the first athlete to ever walk the Victoria's Secret runway, but I don't know if that's technically true. I mean, Suni Lee is also an athlete and an Olympian at that. I think where the confusion comes in is that people don't always recognize Olympians as professional athletes, even though I believe that they are. I mean, they're the best of the best, and I think they are once they go pro after competing. So it's one of those like maybe gray areas where college athletes used to be considered amateurs or pre-professional until the rules changed to let them profit off of their image. But Suni has already competed professionally and even went back to NCAA gymnastics at Auburn University. So yeah, she's a pro athlete too. My guess is that the headline was just meant to highlight Angel as the first Black female professional athlete to walk. I'm not sure, but both women do deserve their flowers for that moment. Having both of them, Angel and Suni, on that runway was very powerful. One represents the tall, dominant, athletic beauty, and the other shows the petite, graceful strength of a gymnast, right? Two completely different body types and looks, both showing that athleticism and femininity come in all forms, and I'm definitely here for that. But the start of the show for me was Adut Akech. Like her walk, her face, her energy. That is a supermodel. She had the best walk of the night, hands down. She was my favorite. Every step had intention, and you could feel that classic runway confidence. We don't see so much of that anymore. Like she wasn't just walking to look pretty. She was commanding the stage. Like, come on. And that's what I love about Adut. Like she represents that timeless model aura. She's like the model to me of this generation. No theatrics, no gimmicks, just pure presence. When she walked out in that red attire, the entire energy of the show shifted for me. Like the lights hit perfectly on her skin and she carried it like high fashion art. That is what I love to see. I think she's part of the lineage of dark-skinned African supermodels like Alec Weck, women who changed what beauty looks like on a global stage. Seeing her take that runway the way that she did was a reminder that high fashion still belongs to us too, okay? Now, Ashley Graham and Precious Lee, they also look stunning too. These are strong and confident, in shape, plus size women who own the runway as well. And that's what people often miss when they talk about plus size modeling. And I want to talk about this. These women are still in shape, okay? I think people expect that a plus size model means, hey, I'm obese, so let me model. And Some places will let you do that, but I think plus size modeling does not stray away from that idea of still being a certain shape. These models train, they work out, they eat well, and they take their craft seriously. Plus size does not mean out of shape. It means representing real proportions that most women actually have. Both of them walked with power, of course, and sensuality, of course, and I think it proved that curves and confidence also belong on every stage, not just in niche campaigns. I know for my company, I really do like the idea that we have been able to showcase plus size models or just curvier girls over the years as well. I love how Ashley carried herself. I think her energy was kind of calm, but it also was commanding. That kind of like mature model presence that you get from just years in the game. And she's always been with Victoria's Secret. She's one of their premier models. And then Precious Lee, she was also glowing. She had that same vibrant, joyful energy she always brings. And she reminded everyone that confidence is the ultimate accessory, like especially when people want to talk about your weight and your size. I think together they brought out that very womanly energy that the show has been missing for years. And then also Anuk Yai. Oh my gosh. What? Can you say breathtaking? Like the silver diamond chain crop top look was everything. She has one of the most striking faces in the industry. And every time she walks, she reminds you why she's at the top of her game, okay? Her movements are just so clean and deliberate. Like I watch runway with like a certain eye, and you can tell that she studies her angles and understands lighting like a pro. Like I really love the way that she looked at the camera during that turn. I mean, woo, that was it. That's the face and that's the moment. Now let's move on to runway mishaps and just some real talk about some things I saw during the show. Let's talk about Bella Hadid. She looked amazing, and I mean amazing. One of my favorite looks in that red look while Karol G was performing. I think that was one of the best moments visually. But her second look in that white outfit with the white wings, you can tell something was off. You could tell by her body language something must have gone wrong. Maybe her wings were too heavy, or maybe it was uncomfortable. I don't know what was going on, but honestly, I do get it. Y'all know I competed in a pageant, like I said, and my carnival costume had a massive back piece, and those things were very heavy. I mean, you're literally praying not to trip or fall. So seeing Bella struggle a little bit, I had some flashbacks. Sometimes the outfit is wearing you instead of you wearing the outfit. My outfit had like 3 big metal pieces, and it was like, even just to get on the stage, when they dropped like the full show, you guys will see this, it was a lot, and I did not anticipate that when I got my costume. So something had to have happened, but I do get it, girl. You kind of held it together. She was looking down, and you know, you're not supposed to let those things visually show on your face. I'm not sure, but you know, that's just something that I noticed. Now, I'm sorry, but Gigi Hadid, her sister, she's beautiful, but to me, she just doesn't give me anything on the runway. And I'm sorry for saying that, especially because I want to be in the, you know, the modeling industry, but I just don't feel that spark or attitude from her like I do with others. I don't know. She opened the show last year and she just gives like she's there, but it's not like over the top to me. Maybe that's the whole point. Maybe she's just a simple girl, so that's that. Now, moving on to performances and my production notes. Karol G's segment to me was the best in terms of musically outside of Missy Elliott, but I'm talking about during the show, like performing as the models are going. The red theme, the dancers, the energy, I feel like that is how you do your segment. Madison Beer looks stunning too, even though I do think she lip synced. It definitely still fit the vibe. And then there was Twice, the K-pop group performing live, which I do respect those that perform live. It is so difficult. For my pageant talent, I perform my rap live, and I was like, okay, this is my first time. I had no practice. I was like, oh, okay. Much respect to the people that perform, sing, rap, and dance. But something felt off about the energy with this one. One of the girls looked nervous or disconnected. I need to get on TikTok and figure out what happened, because y'all be having the tea. But the lead singer, she definitely held it down. But I don't know what's going on with Shorty with the black skirt. Something was just off. But finally, Missy Elliott closed out the night and saved it all. The Lose Control choreography was on point. The dancers were going crazy. People were doing tumbling. It was like the perfect throwback moment. Missy looked so good. I loved it. Now for my final thoughts and future ideas for Victoria's Secret and the show. Overall, I think Victoria's Secret is finding its footing again. I mean, they had to adapt. They're basically balancing the nostalgia of their brand with modern inclusivity, and I don't think that's easy, hence why they were kind of pushed to do so. But shout out to Diva Devana, like I said. She is a Black runway coach and choreographer. She trained Quen Blackwell, and she choreographed for Lisa last year. She's incredible. I wanted to take her class here in Atlanta, but of course, the weekend that she came, I was out of town for my pageant. But the next time she's here, I'm in there, girl. I gotta get in one of your classes. And real quick, Victoria's Secret, if y'all are listening, please collaborate with the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders next year, okay? Imagine the show opening with Thunderstruck in pink light up costumes, uniforms. I feel like that would eat. And I think they're very relevant right now as a women's group that's modern and is kind of challenging some of their classic and traditional things that with their brand, as well as how they are now in this era. So I think they should definitely consider that for next year. I know the show is in October, which is like in the thick of football season, but the show was on a Wednesday night. Call the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders and make sure they're at the show next year. And if they are, Chioma told you so. And mark my words, one day my brand Queen Team Models will collaborate with Victoria's Secret. Let me speak it into existence. We're still building our Atlanta roster, but when that day comes, just know I manifested it right here, okay? I even was texting some of the girls like, are y'all watching the show? This is gonna be us one day. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. You can label the story number 1, 2, or 3, comment on 1 or all. I'll be in the comment section. Also, don't forget, I am hosting my first ever club hosting in Atlanta. Definitely RSVP with the link in the description box down below. Can't wait to see y'all. Also, make sure you check out my girl Lashinova who did my lashes. My lashes aren't done in this video with those lashes, but they lasted a long time, and I'm actually going to her tomorrow so I can get ready for my club hosting. So if y'all are looking for a lash tech, especially for those of us with the curly lashes that are so hard to deal with, she is definitely your girl. I finally found someone, and I'm going to keep going to her. And last but not least, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.
Yeah, I love to hear my name called. Black beauty cutie coming back just like an 8-ball. Philly plays, then I go to Jersey, I'm the cake boss. Barking with my dogs, running through y'all like I'm Saquon. Oh, you again? OMG, I'm getting pissed off. I've been past you, I left you, coming fast just like I seesaw. Nigerian girl, I'm somewhere hot, might go and get my wrist frost. I hate a hoe who like to tell she's staying at the Ritz-Carlton. Yes, I'm a 10, I really am a 10. I'm throwing bows, I'm swinging R's, I hit that Carlton. Not going 50-50, 50 cent with many men. I'm throwing shots from the key, they bouncing in the rim. Hey, you taking shots, you sour ass the salt around the rim. Hey, I make it happen and impossible, now call me Kim. Hey, real life movie, I'm not playing like a sim. Hey, chubby cheeks, I'm golden brown, I'm at your chin. Skirt, Danica Patrick, green looking sharp just like a cactus. Moving forward, not going backwards. Chioma party, I'll send the address. Bust them, but they dark like they some Ray-Bans. I can write, I can rap, I can sing. What more you gotta say, man? Oops, I made your block look like a wasteland. Heavy shit, the straw that broke the camel's back. They might say I'm a haystack. If you ain't rocking with me, boy, just say that. Runway on my body, this is real, baby. This is not a face tan. I heard them girlies crashing out, that's why I call them bandicoots. I'm a brown skin thing, I'm African, and that's right down to